Today is test day. The test is at 12:30 and it's currently 6:30 in the morning and I'm wide awake. I can't sleep. I probably got like 4 hours of sleep. And that's only because like I mean I was studying till 12 and I just couldn't sleep. I don't know. I just couldn't go to sleep and I'm wide awake. So then I'm just like, why try to force myself or just lay in bed and just sit there, then just, I don't know, do something. So I need to do stuff. Even though it's 6:30 and I'm wide awake, I'm still kind of like out of it because, I don't know, I haven't had coffee and I need coffee. So I think that I don't even know where to look at right now. So I'm gonna get my life together right now and just get ready and then take Zero out, take care of the dogs in the morning, and I'm probably gonna clean because when I clean I have like a better sense of, I don't know, I just feel like my life is together when I clean. And I'm probably gonna do laundry too because I just need to do something right now and I just have like a lot of energy. And I mean, it's just, it's probably anxiety from taking like, the amount of pressure for this test. And I did a lot of studying, so I'm completely confident in going in and doing the test and passing, but it's just a lot of pressure. Like I told everyone, imagine if I don't pass. Like, it's just, everyone in the office knows I'm taking the test. My family knows I'm taking the test. On social media, I posted that I'm taking the test today. So it's just like, that in itself is a pressure. But whatever, it doesn't matter. And, yeah. Right, so I'm here. Looks like there's other people in their car waiting, so I'm not the only one. It's 11:30, actually 11:35, and test. So when I got my documents, my test is actually at 12:45. So I printed out all my documents. It has like directions, a map of where to park. It's kind of confusing, but you'll figure it out. And right now during COVID, with the whole pandemic, they have this little information sheet where it basically goes over everything that they're doing in order to keep the whole conditions of the test center safe. One thing that I thought it makes sense to make sure that you are who you say you are, but when you check in, they say that when you have to wear a face mask, obviously, and then when you check in, you have to like take off your mask for like a second. Which technically, I mean, COVID is out there. And then it goes over like social distancing and how they're organizing the test center situation and their cleaning and all of that. All of those details are on here. So since I'm here early, I mean, I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not like nervous like on how I'm gonna do. It's just like the whole anxiety of taking a huge exam, and it's just like, ugh. And I told everyone, that's another thing. It's like, I don't know if people, I don't know, I just added more pressure onto myself, I guess. I don't know. So I have my notes that I printed from prepagent. I use them to basically do all of my prepping for the test, and it comes with like a whole document print. You can print out like a whole summary sheet of all the different concepts, vocab, everything. So I pretty much just go through it and highlight it and then just read what I highlighted. And then there's also audio tapes as well, like it's like on SoundCloud. So I'm just gonna focus on that. I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna read through this, and then I'm gonna listen to the audio and then see where I'm at like 12:15, and then I'll like scope out where I'm supposed to go and figure out the whole, you know, setup. But yeah, so yeah, that's where I'm at. And then from where you last saw me, I basically got ready. I still have I brought a protein shake because I already knew like I'm not hungry. And I've been drinking water, so I'm just trying to stay hydrated and just have to eat this or drink this. I don't know, it's just, I just have like a lot of like nerves and it's just, ugh. But yeah, so I got ready, I cleaned, I finished cleaning, I did a work task, and what else did I do? Oh, I had to go to FedEx to print out my stuff because I don't have a printer at home. And so that was really quick. I live in Hollywood, so everything's really close by. And so I got that done, and then I went on the freeway and there was like no traffic to get here. But I purposely, like, I left the house at like 10:15. So yeah, that's where I'm at with my timing and everything. So now I'm just gonna focus on studying or going over, reviewing and all of that. And then I'll check in before I take the test. Okay. It's 12:15. I gotta go. I gotta chug this. So, next time you see me, I will know if I passed or failed. Okay, bye. Okay, so it's not November 20th. It's not the test date. I don't even know what day it is. Thanksgiving was Thursday. Today's Saturday. 26, 27, 28. So today's the 28th. November 28th. And I passed. I passed the test. First try, first time, passed it. Only reason why I passed it was because of prepagent. Prepagent has everything laid out for you. Definitely highly recommend using prepagent. So yeah, so test situation, just to give you some idea of how it looks like, just in case you're watching this getting ready for your license. So that paperwork that I printed, let me step back a couple steps because I'm just took off. The whole process of getting your real estate license starts with first signing up to get the course. You have to pass 3 courses. You pass those courses, and each course there's real estate principles, real estate practice, and then there is an elective that you choose out of, I think it's like 10 different electives that you could choose. Oh, by the way, this little ghosty, he's laying down next to me. Or actually, I'm laying down next to him. I'm on his bed. So, oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. So, you sign. I did mine through. I'll link it below. What real estate school that I used? I did it online. Technically, I got all of my materials and everything last year in September. The job that I had during that time was way too busy, and like I didn't actually spend time doing real estate stuff until this year in March. And so now we're in November and I already passed the test and everything, so I'm getting that process going. But they mail you out the textbooks, and so each book that you finish, there is like a little test that you have to do, basically certifying that you did those hours and that you passed that course. So like I said, 2 courses, real estate practice and then real estate principles. You do those, then you do your elective. I did real estate law. So I did real estate law, passed that. Once you have your documents showing that you've passed, each course, submit that paperwork. You send it out to the real estate office in Sacramento. I sent my stuff out, I believe it was mid-July. And I didn't get a response back until end of August, early September. I don't know exactly what date I got it. I'll have all those dates and everything on the description below. So it took a while. The only way that I was able to see if I was next in queue of getting them to submit all that paperwork and process everything was through the check that you submit as well. I believe it was like $350 you have to submit along with your paperwork showing that you passed all 3 classes, and then your information, like general information for your real estate license, general like contact information and stuff like that. So once that check got processed, then I knew that they were working on my application. So then shortly after that happened, which was already about maybe a month and a half, then that's when I got the email letting me know, okay, you can now register for your exam. So once I got that registration date, or like that availability to be able to register for my class, I wasn't able to schedule anything until November. So then I chose November 20th as my date. August 28th is when I got the confirmation email that they received all my paperwork. And then September 6th is when I was able to schedule my exam. 20th as my date. And I did that just because it was a Friday, and then there was Thanksgiving, and I just wanted to like not have to worry about studying, or like, just I didn't want to worry about anything. So I gave myself at least a month to study 100% for the exam. And I went on YouTube and I was looking around to see like what kind of course I should do, how I should study. And there's a ton of resources out there, and the main common factor that I heard over and over again was prepagent. When you go on prepagent's YouTube, you can also see all his videos that he posts, and everything is super helpful. He breaks down everything by like concept, so that when you're taking the exam, you understand the concepts, so that you're able to actually answer questions that might be asked differently. There's a fly, and Ghost is like freaking out over this fly. So highly recommend prepagent. And that's basically what saved me with that test. Like I felt like so much better. There's all these practice tests that you can take. I really gotta focus and study for this. No good. I have to review all of this for vocab. Took a vocab test and it's no good. And it's divided by concept, and then so you have like, I don't know, there's probably like 9 or 10 different concepts that you could take, specializing just the test is just on those concepts, so you feel like when you're doing those tests you're like mastering those concepts. Also, I highly recommend going to his YouTube page, because he also does like videos where he highlights people getting tutored. And I didn't sign up for tutoring or anything like that, but just watching some of those videos, they explain to you the concept of even taking the practice quizzes. Basically, when you're taking these practice quizzes, make sure you understand the concepts, the definitions, the, just the ideology of what you're learning. And that's kind of like how I studied and got everything together. So when I took the test and I was going through these questions, some of the questions were like word for word right off prepagent's practice quizzes. And then some of them were worded a little bit differently, but because I knew the major concepts, I was able to answer them. And then to go into, that date when I took the test, basically how they have everything set up, So when you get that link where you're able to finally schedule your exam date, you basically are able to see the calendar. You pick a date, time, everything, and then you'll get like a confirmation saying like, okay, so this is your date, your time, and you're signed up for the test. On the bottom of that page, you're gonna see something where it says like print documents or documents. You need those documents when you go into the testing center, because one of those documents you have to fill out with your like basic contact information. So going into my test, I had those documents. Those were the documents I talked about where I printed them at FedEx. This girl, she comes into the testing site without her documents, and I went to the bathroom, she went to the bathroom. This is before you go into the testing site. So this is technically, we're outside the building, and the way that the testing instructor had everything set up was that you had to wait outside before you can get in, because I guess they had a certain amount of people that could get in at a certain time, and they only had a certain amount of people in the testing center actually taking the test. So we're in that line, and the girl next to me, well, we're asked by the testing person, like, does anybody need to use the bathroom? Anybody that just got here, do they need to go use the restroom? So I had to go to the bathroom, the girl also had to go to the bathroom. So we both go to the bathroom. And then she asked me, like, what documents are they talking about? Like, I don't have any documents. And then I show her, like, my documents. I was like, yeah, well, the documents include, like, you know, your basic information of you taking the test. And then there's also, like, a map. Like, the documents that I was showing previously, there's, like, a map. And then there's also, like, a COVID information sheet of, like, what they're doing with concerning COVID and how they're keeping the test center safe. And what you know, safety measures that they're doing. So so I showed her all of that, and she was just like, oh my gosh, I don't have those documents. She was like, where are these documents? And I was like, well, she showed me her phone, and she had like her test confirmation time, and right there where it says submit, which right underneath that, it also says documents on there. So she was like kind of freaking out, and I told her, I was like, well, if you need to print those out, there's a Regis like across the street, you could probably print that out at. But she ended up not having to print it out. Like, I guess when she went to the testing center, they basically printed it out for her. But you don't want to be caught without those documents, so just print it. So that's pretty much what I did. And then so finally, so you're waiting in line to get processed in, and then they take people by like groups of 3 or 4, and then once you are in the building, this is the LA location, La Palma location, or Las Palmas, somewhere over there. So in that particular location, you are lined up front. They only let a certain amount of people in, but once you get in, then you basically you're assigned a locker, and they give you the keys to the locker. You put in all your stuff, so all you need is your ID, and that's it. Just your ID, pretty much. That's it, yeah. So you have your ID with you, and then when you sign in, they verify your identity by making you take off your mask really quick, and then you basically like flash them your face, and then they give you sign up, you go. So once you pass that lady where she verifies your identity and everything, and you're all packed up, you have all of your extra stuff in your locker, and you only have your key. So you have like a little rubber band thing that has your locker number attached to it, and then you have your ID. So then you go to the next window, which they give you your mouse, and that's it. They just give you a mouse, and they say good luck for your test, and then you go from there to the actual testing room. So then you're in the testing room, and they assign you a computer, and then when you get to your station, you're gonna see a whiteboard, a pen, like a whiteboard, a dry eraser marker, and an eraser, and a calculator. Even though there's no math in the test, you still have a calculator. And then you have to take off your little rubber band with the locker thing and put it up front, and then you also have to have your ID also up front, so it's always visible, so people, when the test moderators are walking by, they can double check and make sure everything is there. And so So yeah, and then you're also given 3 hours to do the test. So I finished the test probably like, I think it was like an hour and a half that I was done with the test, but then I took an extra like 30 minutes just going over all my questions. And basically my strategy of taking the test was I started from the beginning and then I started going through each question. And then anything that I spent longer than maybe like 10 seconds just trying to read it. Like if I had to read the question more than twice to understand what was going on, I skipped it. I didn't guess or anything. I just skipped it and continued going just to keep with the flow. And then in the middle of the test, I actually worked reverse. So then I kind of like skipped a bunch of questions and I started from the last question, which the test only has 150 questions. So then I started from 150 going up. So I started doing that same kind of method where if I had to read the question more than twice just to like understand what was going on, then I would just keep going. So after I did that, then I saw I probably had like 10 questions that weren't 100% filled out. And then with those, then I took my time with answering those. Then I had the completed 150 questions done. Then from there, that was like an hour and a half of getting all of that stuff done. And then from there, I basically split it in segments of 10 questions. So I started all the way from the top and then I reread all of my answers in the questions from in increments of 10, just so that in my head I could kind of calculate like, oh, maybe this, I'm not gonna get this one, you know? And I was like doing the math to see how many I need to pass and which ones I felt confident on. So at least when I walk out of there, I'll have a internal idea like, okay, I'm still okay with these questions if I miss them, or if I guess on these, like it's fine. So that's what took me the extra 30 minutes. So it probably took me like 2 hours to complete the whole thing. And then once you're finished, it's kind of funny because it's like you submit that you're done. And then it'll have another screen that says, are you sure you're done? And then I clicked on it. And then I was like, ugh. And then from there, you grab your mouse and you grab your keys, your locker keys and your ID. And then you go to the front where you got the mouse and you turn that in. And then the lady looked at me and she was just like, okay, so I'm just printing out your results. If you want to grab your stuff from your locker, you're more than welcome to. So then I go grab my stuff from my locker and then I put the key back. I got hand sanitizer and then I walk over to her and then she's like, have a good weekend. And she like winked at me because she was wearing a mask. I'm wearing a mask, like nobody can see each other's face. And then I was like, oh, I don't know. So then I grabbed my little piece of paper and then I'm walking to the elevator with my bag and this piece of paper folded. And this other guy, he's like, well, he's older. He also got his results too. And then so we're both walking to the elevator and then we're in the elevator together. And then he was just like, that test was hard. And I was like, I know there were some questions in that I like never seen before, but I don't know. It's my first time taking the test. And then he was just like, yeah, I don't know. And then you could tell like he wanted to like he wanted me to open my results, but I was like, I'm not gonna open my results in front of this guy. Like, I don't know him. Imagine if I pass and he doesn't. I don't know, it was just weird. So I told him, I was like, oh, I'm calling my mom when I open my test. Like, you know, that's what I'm doing. He's like, oh, okay. And then I walked to my car and then I looked and it said, congratulations, you passed. And I was like, oh, I was like all excited. And then I called my mom, my dad, George, my fiance, everyone. And then, yeah, that was it. That's my story. And, oh, yeah, so yeah, that's what happened. Oh, gosh.